Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com.
This is Lieutenant Jeff Cheshire from the Speedway Fire Department. You're listening to the SA Matters radio show with Dr. Rich Gasaway. SA Matters' mission is simple. They want to help us see bad things coming and time to avoid bad outcomes.
Hello, and welcome to episode 59 of the Situational Awareness Matters radio show. I'm your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence environments. The SA Matters mission is simple: to help you see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes. I'm coming to you today from Champaign, Illinois, where I'm in town delivering 4 situational awareness programs for the Illinois Fire Service Institute. Thank you to the Institute for providing me with this wonderful opportunity. In today's episode, we are going to look at the neurological phenomena known as tachypsychia, or in simpler words, time distortion. We'll also review a Nearmiss report where rapidly changing conditions endangered a crew. Let's begin by exploring the impact of time distortion. Time distortion. On the SAMatters.com website, I've written quite a bit about how our brains can become overloaded under stress, which in turn can impact our situational awareness. On this episode, I want to focus on how your perception of time can become distorted as a result of stress. Tachypsychia. Tachypsychia is a neurological condition that results in the distortion of time. While there can be several causes, we're going to focus on emergency scene stress as the trigger. The phenomena has been well documented in interviews with police officers, military personnel, and martial arts experts. It's sometimes called tachypsychia effect. Individuals impacted by tachypsychia have described it as having the appearance that time is elongated, giving the appearance that events are moving slower than reality. The opposite has also been described, where it appears time is speeding up, sometimes moving so fast that things appear to be blurred. When you are under stress, you can experience a massive dump of hormones that are triggered by that stress. Research suggests that tachypsychia is a stress reaction induced by a combination of high levels of dopamine and norepinephrine. These chemicals impact the uptake and processing of information in the visual processing center. Time gets away from you. Another thing that can happen when you're operating at an emergency scene is time can get away from you. This may not be so much related to stress and hormones as it is to the way excitement can divert the focus of our attention and cause us to lose track of time. Perhaps you've experienced this while doing something enjoyable with friends or with family. You look at your watch and it's 10 a.m. The next time you glance at your watch, it's 2:30 p.m. And you might find yourself wondering, where did time go? It sure didn't seem like 4.5 hours had passed. At the emergency scene, this can be especially challenging for situational awareness, because as 30 minutes pass by, it may only seem as though 10 minutes have. It is very easy in the fast-paced, information-rich environment of an emergency for you to lose track of time. In an environment where firefighters may be operating inside a building that is decomposing as a result of heat exposure, an awareness of the passage of time is catastrophically important. The agony of crawling time. If you've been a first responder for any length of time, you have surely responded to an emergency scene to be met by someone screaming, "What took you so long? I called 911 20 minutes ago." Once the incident is complete and the records are reviewed, it is revealed that the elapsed time from the 911 call to the arrival of the first apparatus was actually only about 8 minutes. But it seemed like 20 minutes to the complainant. That's because they're under stress, and they're watching a crisis play out before their eyes. They're helpless to change the outcome, and this adds to the stress. In this situation, time distortion makes 8 minutes seem to pass like 20. If you are a commander or company officer operating at a scene and give an assignment to a company, for example, stretch a hose line in preparation of an interior attack on a fast-moving fire, it may seem like the crews are operating in slow motion. If things aren't getting done to the speed expected, this can lead to anger, frustration, and task fixation. All three of these outcomes are barriers to situational awareness. These three barriers are on the list discussed during the 50 Ways to Kill a First Responder program. There is little you can do about tachypsychia because it is chemically induced. All you can do is control your reaction to stress in an effort to prevent the dump of chemicals. How to control your reaction to stress is a topic I discuss extensively during the Mental Management of Emergencies program and have written about extensively on the SA Matters blog as well. I encourage you to go there and search out some of the solutions discussed on the blog. You can keep track of the passage of time using two very simple methods. First, have your dispatch announce the passage of time over the radio. For example, command from dispatch, 10 minutes have passed. Command from dispatch, 20 minutes have passed. Command from dispatch, 30 minutes have passed. Ideally, this would be done on a channel or multiple channels if necessary, so everyone operating at the emergency scene can hear it. This is important because everyone operating at the emergency scene can be impacted from losing track of time. Some agencies may have dispatch centers that are not able or not willing to support scene operations by keeping track of the passage of time and making the announcements. If you find yourself in that situation, the commander or a designee could keep track of time using a timer on the command board or a stopwatch, then announcing the passage of time intervals to all personnel operating at the incident scene. Something to think about. Describe a time when you were working at an incident scene and time got away from you. What were the consequences? What tips do you have for helping others manage the passage of time at an emergency scene? Have you ever experienced tachypsychia? Describe what happened and how it impacted you. Now let's review a near-miss report from the National Firefighter Near-Miss Reporting System website. Rapidly changing fire conditions endanger a crew. At approximately 2:53 in the morning, dispatch received a 911 call from an occupant of an apartment stating that her apartment was on fire. During the initial 911 call, the occupant/victim stated to dispatchers that she was located on the second floor of the apartment and that her 4 children were trapped and unable to escape to the first floor due to smoke conditions in the apartment's stairwell. At approximately 2:55 a.m., fire department units were dispatched to the incident, resulting in the following resources responding. Ladder 1 with 4 personnel, captain, engineer, and 2 firefighters. Engine 1 with 2 personnel, an engineer and 1 firefighter. Engine 2 with 4 personnel, captain, engineer, and 2 firefighters. Engine 3 with 2 personnel, an engineer and firefighter, and 1 battalion chief. The assistant chief also responded at the time of the initial dispatch from an off-duty status to serve as the incident safety officer. While en route to the incident location, responding personnel were advised by dispatch that a law enforcement officer was on the scene and reported that there was a working fire on the second floor of the apartment and that entrapped victims were attempting to escape the apartment out a window. Upon receiving this information, the battalion chief initiated a mutual aid response from a neighboring jurisdiction, which resulted in the additional responding resources. 1 battalion chief, Engine 4 with a captain, engineer, and 2 firefighters, Rescue 3 with a captain and 2 firefighters. At approximately 3:02 a.m., Engine 2 arrived on the scene and observed laminar smoke coming from an open window located on the second floor of the involved apartment unit and reported this to dispatch. Upon arrival at the scene, the Engine 2 captain, we'll call him Captain B, established incident command and conducted a scene size-up. In the duration of the scene size-up, Captain B met up with the law enforcement officer who was on scene and explained to Captain B that the entrapped victims were able to escape the apartment prior to their arrival and that he believed all victims were out of the structure. Also, in the duration of the size-up, Captain B made full observations of the apartment building's Alpha and Delta sides during his arrival and physically walked the Bravo and partially the Charlie sides of the building. However, Captain B did not make a full observation of the involved apartment unit's Charlie side. In the duration of Captain B performing his scene size-up, the remaining personnel of Engine 2 initiated a scene setup which included deploying an 1 3/4 attack line to the front door of the involved apartment unit and established a water supply by use of a hydrant located adjacent to Engine 2's final position. Based upon observations made by Captain B and information he received from dispatch, he was led to believe the fire was located on the second floor of the apartment and decided to launch a fire attack to the second floor. Captain B ordered one of Engine 2's firefighters, we'll call him Firefighter B, to have the attack line charged and to force the locked front door of the apartment in preparation for making entry. Simultaneously, during the above events, the battalion chief arrived on the scene and a transfer of incident command was conducted between Captain B and the battalion chief via radio communications, and the battalion chief assumed the command of the incident and served as the incident commander. 2 minutes later, Ladder 1 and Engine 1 arrived on scene and reported to command. Ladder 1's captain, we'll call him Captain A, met up with the battalion chief and was given the order to locate an attic access and to inspect the structure's attic for fire extension. And Engine 1's crew was assigned to serve as a rapid intervention team, while crews operated on the interior. In the duration of Captain A's receiving his assignments, one of Ladder 1's firefighters, call him Firefighter A, deployed a ground ladder to the open second-story window in an effort to assist the RIT with the scene setup. Upon Firefighter B forcing the front door and gaining access to the interior of the apartment, Firefighter B and Captain B entered the apartment. Upon entry into the apartment, Captain B made a quick view of the first floor from the entry point and observed moderate smoke conditions extending from the ceiling to chest level and a clear view from the front of the apartment to the rear of the apartment, and did not observe any active fire or flames. Also, Captain B and Firefighter B observed the smoke conditions appeared to be worse on the second floor. Based upon information Captain B had received from dispatch en route, the law enforcement officer on scene, and his personal observations during the size-up, he was led to believe the fire seat was located on the apartment's second floor. Captain B and Firefighter B then began to advance the charged attack line up the apartment's stairwell in an effort to locate and extinguish the fire. Also, due to the totality of the circumstances of the front door being locked, indicating no one had exited through the front door, and the on-scene law enforcement officer stating that he, quote-unquote, believed all occupants were out of the structure rather than affirming it, Captain B requested Captain A to initiate a primary search to ensure no remaining victims were entrapped. Captain A, along with Firefighter A, also entered the structure and ascended the stairwell to begin a primary search of the second floor of the apartment. Upon arrival to the second floor, Captain A and Firefighter A conducted a primary search, while simultaneously Captain B and Firefighter B searched for the fire, which they believed was located on the second floor. Meanwhile, on the exterior of the structure, the other Engine 2 firefighter proceeded to complete a full visual walk around the structure and reported back to the IC his observations. In the duration of the firefighter's walk around, he observed a working fire in the kitchen area located on the first floor of the involved unit. His observation was made through the intact glass of the kitchen window. The firefighter noted that the glass was beginning to deform, but refrained from busting the glass and reported the information to the IC. Upon obtaining information from Engine 2's other firefighter, the incident commander made notification of the fire's actual location to the crews operating on the second floor, and assigned Engine 3's crew to man a second attack line deployed from Engine 2 and make preparations at the structure's alpha side front door to make fire attack in effort to extinguish the fire located in the kitchen area. As Engine 3's crew was preparing to make entry into the structure, the incident commander immediately noticed a significant change in the smoke's movement and coloration. The incident commander made notification by radio to Captain B of the sudden deteriorating conditions observable from the exterior and advised the crews operating on the interior to exit the structure. Immediately following the radio transmission from the incident commander, all 4 personnel operating on the second floor were impacted by thick, superheated black smoke and rapidly rising extreme temperatures. Captain A then observed the glow of fire coming from the bottom of the apartment stairwell and advised others they were unable to exit via the first floor doorway as the fire was rapidly progressing below them and cutting off their exit. Captain A was oriented on the stairwell landing, second floor hallway area, and made an order for personnel to follow him to the Alpha side window where Firefighter A had previously deployed the ground ladder to that window as the secondary means of egress. Captain A was the first crew member to the window and was the first crew member to attempt egress out the window onto the ground ladder. Captain A made 2 attempts to egress out the window, and upon his second attempt was able to exit the window onto the ground ladder. Immediately following Captain A, Firefighter A and Firefighter B arrived at the window, and Firefighter A began to attempt an egress out the window, but was unable to due to the window's sash still being intact and preventing his SCBA from going through the window. Firefighter A then began physically removing the window sash to allow for the ease of egress. At this time, Firefighter A realized that Captain B was not at the window with him and began to call out for Captain B, who had become disoriented just outside of the Alpha side bedroom doorway. Captain B yelled back to Firefighter A, and Firefighter A recognized that he was within close proximity to him and began beating a Halligan tool on the floor while yelling to Captain B. Due to Firefighter A's actions, Captain B was able to quickly orient himself to the sound and arrive at the window of egress with Firefighter A and Firefighter B. Meanwhile, on the exterior of the structure, while the above detailed actions were taking place, Engine 3's crew observed the living room area becoming rapidly involved in fire. Furthermore, they observed flames beginning to ignite, the observable black smoke coming out the doorway, and potentially trailing up the stairwell. Engine 3's crew immediately initiated an attack from the exterior of the apartment's Alpha side entry doorway, primarily targeting the stairwell and the immediate first floor entry area to protect the second floor where the crews were making egress. Simultaneously, Engine 2's engineer, along with the IC, began to notice smoke conditions becoming more turbulent and consistent to that of pre-flashover consistency, and an order was given to Engine 3's crew to redirect their attack line to the window where crews were making egress in an effort to cool the room's temperature and protect the escaping firefighters. Upon the arrival of Captain B to the window, Firefighter A returned to removing the window sash and then exited the structure through the window of egress onto the ground ladder, while being protected by the water being sprayed into the window. Firefighter A was then immediately followed by Firefighter B and Captain B. All 4 firefighters were able to escape without injury. Upon all personnel exiting the structure who were operating on the second floor, the other firefighters immediately redirected suppression efforts to the first floor and brought the fire under control and quickly extinguished the fire on the first floor living room and kitchen areas, preventing the fire from making any extension to the second floor. Also, the IC completed a personnel accountability report and made assurance there was accountability of all personnel operating on the incident scene. Fire investigation information. Upon investigation, it was determined that the fire originated in the kitchen area of the structure and struggled to develop due to a lack of sufficient ventilation. Upon the fire developing to the point of creating enough heat and smoke to awaken the civilian victim, the victim broke out the second floor alpha side bedroom window, allowing the heat and smoke from the fire located on the first floor to begin ventilating and creating a chimney effect draft from the fire's seat up the apartment's stairwell and out the second floor bedroom window. Despite a ventilation point being created, the fire continued to struggle in development and was held in check in the area of origin due to the lack of sufficient ventilation to facilitate rapid growth. Upon Captain B and Firefighter B forcing entry into the structure's alpha side entry door, the chimney effect ventilation pattern was disrupted and the ventilation point closer to the seat of the fire was created, thus enhancing the fire's ability to develop at a rapid rate. While the firefighters were operating on the apartment's second floor, the fire was able to rapidly develop on the first floor, thus allowing the fire in the kitchen area to reach flashover temperatures and extend into the apartment's living area to include the lower portion of the apartment's stairwell. Upon the first floor becoming heavily involved with fire, the chimney effect ventilation pattern was reestablished as the fire's superheated smoke and gases traveled up the apartment's stairwell and exhausted out one of the ventilation points located at the open second floor bedroom window. Visible heat damage observed by the investigators in the area of the apartment's second floor and on the interior of firefighters' PPE was consistent to that of potential temperatures reaching 500 to 800 degrees just prior to the firefighter victim's escape. Based upon eyewitness accounts of the visible smoke conditions observed from the exterior of the structure and statements obtained from the involved firefighters in conjunction with the damages observed in the apartment, investigators were led to believe that flashover conditions were imminent in the area of the firefighters' egress at the time of their escape. Lessons learned. Key near-miss contributing factors. 1. Failure of Captain B to conduct a full 360-degree walk-around of the involved structure on his initial arrival immediately led to the misdiagnosis of the fire's actual location. If fully completed, Captain B would have observed the first floor kitchen area of the apartment unit was on fire and would have employed different strategies and tactics. 2. Failure of the initial interior crews to investigate the first floor for the assurance that the fire's location prior to ascending to the second floor, once again resulting in a misdiagnosis of the fire's actual location on the fire floor. 3. Failure of personnel to fully clear the window established as the secondary means of egress led to a delayed egress of the escaping firefighters. Survival lessons learned. 1. When conducting a visual scene size-up of a structure, a full 360-degree walk-around must be completed in an effort to attain a full determination of the incident's magnitude and involvement, as doing so will save firefighters' lives. 2. When engaging operations in multi-story structures, at a minimum, a reconnaissance check of the floor below must be fully completed prior to ascending to the next level to assure no hazards are present that may impact the next floor, as doing so will save firefighters' lives. 3. When establishing a secondary means of egress by using a window, the window must be fully cleared of glass and any remaining structural components to allow for ease of egress, as doing so will save firefighters' lives when seconds count. 4. The art of smoke reading and recognition of pre-arrival flashover conditions must be included in the continuing education of firefighters, fire officers, and incident commanders and will save firefighters' lives. 5. Prompt establishment of a secondary means of egress prior to or during fire operations will save firefighters' lives. 6. Maintaining a positive location orientation by use of feel, meaning hands to the wall, and low visibility will allow firefighters to quickly identify escape routes and ultimately will save firefighters' lives. 7. Prompt and efficient reaction to the recognition of pre-arrival conditions, meaning rapid room cooling by fire streams, will protect firefighters and ultimately save firefighters' lives. 8. Accountability extends beyond just that of incident commanders and fire officers. It involves each member, regardless of rank, operating in an incident, and member-to-member accountability will save firefighters' lives. 9. Sound orientation techniques when assisting a disoriented firefighter will work and will save firefighters' lives. 10. When a firefighter recognizes he or she is in imminent peril, maintaining a calm, cool, and collected persona is the key element of survival and will save a firefighter's life. 11. Properly worn PPE will prevent injuries when exposed to extreme conditions and when worn properly will save firefighters' lives. 12. Deploying 3 attack lines should be considered for all 2-story structure fires, with the first line going to the fire floor, the second line going to the floor opposite of the fire floor, and the third line remaining outside as a backup. This action will ensure all areas are protected and will prevent a fire from progressing unexpectedly without ready resources deployed to mitigate the fire. 13. The science of fire versus ventilation must always be maintained in the firefighter's mindset while engaging strategies and tactics, and this science must be included in a firefighter's continuing education, as the understanding of this balance will save firefighters' lives. 14. Self-discipline of firefighters not to act on their own accord and maintain focus of their assignment given by command will save firefighters' lives. 15. The use of the incident command system and the maintaining of positive scene control by the incident commander, even when firefighters are imperiled, will save firefighters' lives. 16. The closing of the door will decrease the thermal impact on firefighters during escape and will buy firefighters time to escape. Thank you to the firefighter who took time to submit this near-miss report. And thank you also for being so thorough and so complete with your explanation about what happened and the lessons learned. You have truly given a gift to the fire service. Before I close out today's episode, I want to take a moment to thank the departments and organizations that have hosted recent Situational Awareness Matter tour stops. Your efforts to bring this valuable and powerful training on situational awareness and high-risk, high-consequence decision-making to your members and to others in your region are appreciated. The Frisco, Texas Fire Department, the Lodi, California Fire Department, and the Illinois Fire Service Institute. If you're interested in attending an upcoming program, I will be at the following locations on these dates. June 10 and 11, the Montana Joint Fire Conference in Ennis, Montana. June 16, the Prince Albert Fire Department in Saskatchewan. June 18, 19, and 20, the South Dakota Firefighters Association Conference in Pierre. June 22nd at the Spokane, Washington Fire Department. June 26 and 27 at the Flathead County EMS in Kalispell, Montana. Then I'm going to take a couple of weeks off for vacation. Then on July 16, I'll be at the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association Conference in Columbus. July 18, the Norristown Fire Department in Pennsylvania. July 19 and 21, the NSA Conference in Washington, D.C. July 23 and 24 at the West Point Military Academy in West Point, New York. And on July 25th, at the Aberdeen Proving Ground in Aberdeen, Maryland. If you're interested in attending an upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stop, head over to the SA Matters website and click on the blue box on the right side of the homepage labeled Upcoming Events Schedule. Here's hoping there'll be a tour stop near you and we'll get a chance to meet up. If you're not a member of the SA Matters community of learners yet, please consider joining. There are over 5,000 members connected here in SA Matters and sharing ideas on how to improve situational awareness, how to make better decisions under stress, and how to train members on how to be critical thinkers and resilient problem solvers. Membership is free, and when you sign up, I'll send you a free special report called 25 Best Practices for Improving First Responder Safety. So if you're not a member, head over to the SA Matters website, click on the red box on the right side of the page that says Free Membership. As a reminder, every episode of the SA Matters radio show has a corresponding show notes page on the samatters.com website. The most recent episodes scroll on the home page. For older episodes, go to samatters.com, then / and enter the episode number, which is always mentioned at the start of each show. So, for example, if you wanted to access episode, say, 55, open up your internet browser, enter samatters.com / 55, and that will take you to the page containing a link to that episode's show notes. The show notes contain additional information and resources about the episode, and depending on who the guest is, there may also be pictures, video, or audio, and how to contact the guest on the show. On the show notes page, you can also leave questions or comments about the episode. If you want to get connected with me on social media, you can follow at Rich Gasaway or at SA Matters on Twitter. The SA Matters Twitter community is nearly 15,000 strong, and thank you for those who support our mission through Twitter. You can also get connected with me on Facebook and by liking the SA Matters page, and on LinkedIn by searching Rich Gasaway. And thanks to those who've connected with me on Facebook and LinkedIn. I really enjoy sharing the content with you there. Well, that's it. Episode 59 is complete. Thanks to our sponsor, Midwest Fire. And thank you to our listeners for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. If you have experienced or witnessed a near miss and would like to have a platform to share your lessons learned with others, please contact me by visiting the samatters.com site and clicking on the Contact Us link on the top of the homepage. Think about it. Your lessons learned from a close call could save someone else's life. Just think about that for a moment. Then if you want to share your experience, contact me. If you like the show, please consider going over to iTunes or Stitcher Radio and subscribing. Search for SA Matters Radio on iTunes or Stitcher, SA Matters Radio. Please consider leaving your feedback for me there, and if you like the show, give it a 5-star review. Not only will that motivate me, but it will also help others to find the show. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gasaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit samatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgasaway.com.